painting, obviously, but we also continue in our book. Remember last video we finished lesson 10, so today we're gonna finish. Okay, we're gonna try to do 5 lessons, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so let's start. I hope you're not getting bored watching this video of me drawing. And I'm just gonna ask for some for some patience, because I know drawings don't look as good as they look when they're finished, so please be patient. Alright, so by the way, I want to let you know that I decided to do some triggers, so maybe when we finish this book, maybe I'll start doing some triggers just to see how it is. It's gonna be super different for me, but it's a little challenge that I want to do, and it's obviously a challenge for myself as well, because you guys know that I'm a little scared about doing something different and doing something that it doesn't make me feel it's just something weird for me. So please just keep in mind that I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So we have lesson 11. If I have my life to live over. Ooh. The importance of dividends. And he has a quote which I like to read quotes, so I'm gonna read that one. In a nutshell, reinvesting your dividends in a stock fund is the glue that holds your financial plan together. Well, we all know that, kind of. So basically this chapter talks about the dividends and their reinvesting them, and he talks how big it is to do that. So he says he also talks about starting early and letting compounding work. So I think I'm not saying that this book is not important, or it's not that is like, I think this book is not important for me, or it's not like, it's super boring, like I hate it and I talk to my husband about it. But if you know about dividends and about stocks and about how to invest your money, good for you. Like, I'm really, really happy. Like, I feel like if you know how to do that, like, you're good. But if not, the first thing that always is like, or like that I also learned from books, is that you need to learn how to have your base. What that means is like the importance of having money to eat, to pay your bills, and basically like the basics. Then you worry about, okay, allocating money here and there, like for emergency, for splurge, things like that. And investments obviously comes like in those pockets. But about dividends and all of that, I feel like that it comes to when you actually when you actually invest in more money, when you have more money to play with. So the chapter or that lesson will be a little bit like tough and hard for us. I'm really sorry if you hear that, but there is a dog next door, like, that they take out, like, I guess once a day, and every time he wants to go in, like, I think like he starts barking. So I'm so sorry if you hear them. Anyway, for lesson 12, they talk about shopping at Walmart, saving for a rainy day. Alright, so Hold on just a second. I just want to make sure that he didn't put a time in the market. It says so. This is lesson 14. Sorry about that. Give me just a second. These lessons are super short, like super short, like literally like less than a page. Shopping at Walmart, saving for a rainy day. So basically it talks about keep everyday costs rock bottom and funnel the savings into an emergency fund so surprises don't derail you. So that's kind of true. Like I said, like if you know that it's getting a little tougher, like just try to pay your bills, whatever, but like always be more cautious on your purchases, like on your groceries. Maybe if you used to have sodas, for example, maybe you cut it to water, or if you had like a weekly or monthly, like let's say weekly meal outside, like maybe you cut it for a couple of months so you can save. So that's basically what it is, because unfortunately we all know that emergencies comes in the worst times, and then why we want to be more how to say it, like having an emergency when you don't have any money, it's painful. And I've been there. I think everybody been there. Like I think everybody been there, like in there, I don't know, maybe before your 20s or maybe during your 20s. Like we all been there, right? That we have an emergency, we don't have any money saved. So yeah, so if you know that you are not doing great this month, you don't wait, right, to see what's happening next month. You just start, like you put in practice everything, you start like going at it. So that's chapter 12. On chapter 13 is called Lessons from a Farmer on How to Save. Save like a farmer. Plant regularly. Protect your crop, avoid debt, and be patient for the harvest. It's true. So I would like to read that one because it's very short, and this one actually we all can relate, and we can actually it's actually for everybody, I feel. So it says, one day after I finished my high school classes, I walked up over the farm equipment store where my dad was keeping track on the books. The temperature had risen to over 100 Fahrenheit. I could tell it was going to be another sizzler, because the black repair dart in the center of the street had already begun to melt. I reached into the 5-cent Coke machine, dipped my hand into the ice water, and took out a bottle. The farmers were talking about the new tractors, the high rockets, and money. I drew closer to listen to their words, not because I was interested in anything about high rockets, but because I knew these farmers in our town will always had money. And money in my youth was a precious commodity. It was easy to tell the farmers from the salesmen. The farmers were big overalls, not just any overalls, mind you. The garment of choice, as far as I could tell, had the logo Oshkosh gosh. Soon on the top flap. Farmers are a strange bunch. You pretend to be comfortable with them, but you never are. They know it, but they also pretend they don't. But much of what I learned about how to accumulate wealth and build a cash reserve came from talking with these farmers. If I had to grab up all the financial planning ideas in the world, they could be boiled down to one simple premise told to me over sorry about that. So it says they could be boiled down to one simple premise sorry about that. I'm so tired today. They could boil down to one simple premise told to me over a hierarchy. In an equipment store, first save some money the safe way, and then take some risk for the years ahead. That's the whole deal, and it worked for the farmers. Everyone in our small town knew they were rich. They paid cash and they drove big Cadillacs. So I asked one of these farmers, "How did you save money and get so rich?" "Well, Sonny," he said, looking me straight in the eye, "if you don't pay yourself first, no one else will. Is that all there is Is that all there is to getting rich?" I asked. "That's it," he said. "Lord knows you don't have to be smart. You don't have to make a lot of money. But if you don't save some money each month, all the fantasy investment advice in the world won't make you rich. Remember," he said, "nobody has ever gone broke without money in the bank." I was on a roll now, so I went for the good stuff. "If I'm not being too personal," I said, "how did you learn to pay yourself first?" The problem most people face is that they can't save any money because no one sent them the bill. To get started, I made up a bunch of bills, but to get started, I made up a bunch of bills, put them in the envelopes addressed to me, and give them to a friend. Each month, he dropped me one in the mail, and I paid the bill to the bank. I learned never to miss the money. "I got really good at this," he said with a smile. "And now I can pay cash for anything I want." Dreaming of a time when I might get rich, I asked the farmer, "How will I know when I'm rich like you?" As a high school student, ready to make my way to college and my fortune, I'll never forget his answer. "You know you're rich," he said, "when you can't afford anything you want and you don't want anything." But now my mom was working overtime, and as I listened to the farmer, I began to envision a time when, like him, I too could pay cash and drive a Cadillac. After all, if you didn't need to be smart, and if you didn't have to make a lot of money, I knew I had a head start on most people. That's lesson 13. So basically it's true. Like, that is something I learned with my husband now, because I didn't know that saying that you need to pay yourself first, and it's very true. It's very, very true. You need to pay yourself first, because like, nobody's gonna come and give you a check. So you're working, you should get paid. That way you continue getting your bills and all that. If you have your own company, obviously. If you have a job, what's gonna happen? That check is gonna be that check, and the bills are gonna be your bills. And the only thing that you can do during these situations is save money. Save money, because for just the way you can find a job, another type of job, for example, and you're gonna quit, you can just go and tell your boss, okay, I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice, see if you're nice, and I'm leaving because I found a better option, right? If you're worth that more money, and if your boss knows and recognizes that you are that person that indispensable, for example, he's gonna keep you. Your boss is gonna keep you. Your boss is gonna take care of that extra money that you were gonna earn in another job. But if you're not, your boss is gonna let you go. Now, it doesn't matter if you stay or go. What matters is how much money extra you have. And what are you gonna do with that extra money? Because now we're talking about you working for somebody else, not having your business and paying yourself first. So if you having like if you having your job as a 9 to 5, you need to start doing pockets. So now this is tricky, because I'm not sure if you can do those things on a regular bank account, like in a regular bank in America. From what I remember, I don't think so. But there is a lot of electronic cards, like for example Wise, which is another bank, and these what's it called? These electronic cards have like this feature that you can put, like, you can make different buckets in your account, like for example splurge, health, groceries, things like that, and then you basically need to allocate the money that you need for your bills, for your groceries, for your rent, for your car insurance or car registration, or all of those things. So you need to do that, and at the end, so there's also a way to have money for yourself for fun, and that's usually called a smile, which is like, a smile is for like a long trip, or splurge, which is like to just have fun in like that day, for example. So that's the only way you can do it if you work at a 9 to 5. But if you have your own business, yes, paying yourself first is more important. Now, if you have employees, that's a different story, and it's so much more, a lot more complicated, because if you broke, you obviously need to pay them, because you don't wanna, it's not their fault, it's always like the owners, right? So you don't wanna look like you used to manage of them, so you need to pay them. So for that to happen, you need to know how much money you have. Now, if you the same money that we do it, like the same arrangement that we do it if you had a 9 to 5, you do that on a business. Like you have different allocations for, like, for example, runway, I don't know, softwares, or employees, like freelancers, expenses, all of these things. So that's the same thing, like personal, but cater for business, basically, right? Obviously, on business, you don't have splurge, you don't have smile, but you have like freelancers, you have office supplies, things like that. So that's the other way to do it. And always try never to have just one source of income when you have a business, because that can hurt you. So it's always good to have like a backup plan. Like, okay, this is my business, but have a little bit of side job where like you can do it without a lot of pressure, but something that gives you at least what you get paid. That way, if anything happens with this business, at least you have that other thing already. You don't have to worry about you paying your bills because it's already paid, and you still have like a little runway from everything that you saved up. So that's the way to do it, in a way that you don't have to worry, you don't have to stress. So that's chapter 13. I think this is the one chapter I have to say that it was very interesting and very true and very doable for all the people that don't do stocks or anything like that. So yeah, so that's a great way to manage your money, basically. So lesson 14 is the magic of guessing, timing the market. So this chapter talks about the market timing is mostly guessing, automate steady investing, like monthly, and ignore short-term swings. Again, I mean, you can always do Vanguard and do the investing like that, but I'm not gonna tell you what to do when it comes to investment, because a lot of people tend to take that as an advice, and if something comes out wrong, it would be hard to know that I gave an advice when I didn't, but I just say what I was thinking. Like, I gave an opinion and people take it as an advice, and then they end up but not in a good situation. So I won't do that. And honestly, that's why I say about investments, like, I'm never gonna tell anybody like, yeah, you should invest in this, because that might work for me, but it's not always the same. Like, there's a lot of things that I'll do that they work for my benefit, but maybe because I know how, and maybe I'm really bad at telling people like how to do it so they can have the same results. But yeah, I wouldn't tell you like you need to do this, because I don't do it, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of knowledge of that. So that's basically chapter 4. Lesson 14. Sorry about that. On lesson 15, they talk about meet the gang, how much people make in the stocks market. Compare typical investor behaviors and show that discipline, buy and hold compound, use beasts, sporadic trading. Again, this is about, like, if you don't know about trading, I wouldn't recommend to use a banker, because they usually obviously wants the commission, and you don't want your commission. You don't want to give the commission like that. Like, why would I give someone my commission? So if you're not willing to learn that, don't waste your money, because it's like going to Vegas and do it. So I don't trust these bankers at all. So for chapter 16, lesson, I keep saying chapter, I don't know why. So let me see, give me just a second. In the meantime, I'm gonna talk to you about something else, so you don't get bored. So yeah, so I'm gonna start doing my triggers, because I feel like I don't know, like I said, I just wanna make it more fun, and it's a little bit of my own, it's for me basically more than anything. I wanna be it's a challenge. I'm always challenging myself. I'm always challenging what I can do. I'm always thinking on I used to be shy making videos, and I don't feel the same way anymore. I feel like now I like it, but still, like, doing videos with just me talking, it makes me feel super bored. And making videos of me putting, I don't know, like, I don't think I'm good at editing, or if I am, I'm getting pretty lazy. But yeah, like, the reason why I like my drawing is because I don't feel like I don't need to edit anything. Literally, the way you see it is exactly how it is. Like, there is nothing, like, there's nothing that you can, like, how can I say it, like, that you can think that I'm editing. Like, it's just that literally how it's recorded is how I put it on YouTube. So yeah, it's a little different. So anyway, alright, so we're gonna go on lesson 16, the trolley card, never be a leader. Don't lend to friends and family or anyone expecting smooth repayments, high risk, low return. If you want to help, give what you can afford, or say no. That is so true. Like, seriously. Okay, alright, let's talk. I think that in my life, okay, when I was very little, maybe around 5, I think I was 5. So I'm from Mexico, right? And in Mexico we have the piñatas, as you know. But piñatas in Mexico were used for December, for like Christmas. And I remember, well, first of all, in Mexico, if someone breaks the piñata, and the piñata just or the piñata falls completely, and if you jump and you get the whole piñata, it's yours. You don't have to give anything to anybody. It's yours, the whole thing. So long story short, that happened to me. Like, I jumped and I got the piñata, and I was so happy, like super happy. Well, I grabbed my piñata and I ran to my house because I didn't want these kids to go all over me. I had so many candy, so yeah, I gave some to my mom, to my sisters, but I still had a lot. So from that, I started, like, selling them. Long story short, my little, I don't know how to say it, like, I used to put a little table outside my house and put my candies, and people would buy it. And it was fine. At some point, I was making enough money for me to even give my mom some money. And I was even making money to a point that my family, like my aunts or my uncles, will ask me to borrow money. And I wasn't a fool, because my mom back then, my dad and my mom were like, they were always like getting money. Like they were always like asking for money, going to the lenders, and and getting everything on credit. So I knew about credit back then. I was like probably already like 6, 7. I don't think I was 5. No, probably 6, 7. And so so one day someone asked me for money, for like 100 pesos or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you money. But because I knew that person, I knew who she was. It was a female. It was my aunt. I was like, you're gonna give me back 150. I said, no, I'm sorry, that was double. I said, you're gonna give me double. And she's like, yeah. So when the time came up, like, she didn't pay me, and I wasn't fooling around. So I said, okay, so I'm gonna make you look bad in front of your husband. So I told the husband, hey, you owe me money. Obviously the husband didn't wanna owe anybody money, so they pay me. Anyway, I've been very good at money. I've been very, very good at like managing. And after that, I was good on lending money to my family too. I don't remember why I stopped or why things stopped, but that's one thing I remember about my childhood, and I love it, and I feel very proud of. And when I was older, probably like I was already like in my early 20s, my friend asked me for money, and I lent her money because one, I had it, but I didn't like the way she asked me, because it was like $50, I think so, but she never paid me back. And until this day, annoys me, because I'm like, how can someone can't even pay $50? And since that moment, I learned never to lend anybody money again, because I was even embarrassed to ask her for my money. Seriously. But anyway, like I was just embarrassed, and I just didn't want to, and it was just $50, and it honestly never. Sometimes I forget, because I just didn't need the money. So sometimes I just want to think that it's because she used to do me favors sometimes. Maybe she was just like, okay, this is your favor, and I'm okay with that. But anyway, I think friends, we do favors, but when it comes to money, it's very tricky. So yeah, so I know some people that let money borrow to others, and some people they just forget. And especially when it's a man, it's like, come on, it's like you should have more like like it's embarrassing that a man owes money like that. So yeah, I mean, things like that can happen, and that's so true. Don't help anybody. Don't, and by that I mean money. Don't lend anybody money, no matter especially if they're your family, because family tend to just never pay you back. They just never do. And friends, they just stop talking to you, and then that's it. So friends and family are the worst. And if you do lending somebody money that it's like business partner or whatever, make them sign something. Oh, by the way, I didn't lend money, but I remember when I was with this person, with this long relationship, well, the house that we used to live in, it was my my ex mother-in-law, right? So what happened is that and the house needed a lot of work, so obviously they didn't have enough money to fix it. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna put the money, but you're gonna sign me a paper that if I leave your son, you're gonna give me the money back. Okay, long story short, it happened. I left, and the mom did give me the money back. I have to say that she did do that, but I had a paper, and in America it's obviously more like hard not to do it. So I did. I showed her the paper again. I said, remember this? And she's like, yes, tell me how much it is. She gave it to me. That's it. Never have an issue with the lady. So that's the only way I would lend money. And I would do that in a place where, like, I know if the person doesn't pay me, I can sue that person, because it's very important. You need to protect your money so much, like your own life. Money doesn't go to people that don't fight for it. Why would money wants to just be thrown around? No. So protect your money. Don't waste it in people that don't deserve it. So that was a great lesson, by the way. So 13 and 16 are the best so far. Lesson 17. The hare and the tortoise staying in the market. Slow and steady wins. Stay invested through cycles instead of chasing hot tips or jumping in and out. That is true. Because if you invest in this, like I say, I'm not pro, but it's so true. Like, if you invest in this and then you see that going up, and then you jump to that one and you take off your money from this one, and you start doing that little game, it can get pretty risky. So yeah, stay with the one that you know that is giving you a little bit, but it's for sure, instead of going for someone that it just happened and then all of a sudden it's gonna drop so hard that you're gonna lose everything. And for this thing, that's why I'm like, okay, I'm not giving anybody an advice. And if I ever do this, or if I wanna do this, I will give as much information as possible. So do that. Like, inform yourself. Sorry about that. I got super thirsty. Okay, so we also have a quote. Lesson 17. You should be able to double your money in the stock market in about 5 years, in a 5% CD in 15 years. Okay, this is not a quote. It was probably from the bank. So forget about that. This is just part of the book. So on lesson 18 is sitting on your hands, long-term saving in the market. So for lesson 18, it says, set a simple plan like automatic monthly investing and mostly leave it alone. Overtrading usually hurts results, like I was just saying. So yeah, so maybe like, for example, the buckets, like, there is so many, like I said, like Wise is one of them, and I know that Wise gives you a percentage. You can put it, like, you can lock the money and it will give you like percentage like every month. So you can do that. That way you are monitoring that, and I think wise. I don't remember very well, but I think you can remove the money if you need to. But this is just like if you need to. But yeah, I mean, that is a really good strategy, and I'm totally on board with that one. I'm gonna read a little bit about it. This lesson is so important that I am going to tell you once again why so many investors lose money in the stock market. Oh, by the way, you're saying that they lose money. The majority of the wisdom comes from my own experience. I like to think it's like wearing old shoes. After my feet get comfortable in a pair of shoes, I keep them until they fall apart. As long as they feel and look good, why throw them away? This drives my wife nuts. She has a closet full of shoes and she buys new ones all the time. But I don't care. To me, keeping old comfortable shoes is a lot like keeping my... Hold on just a second. It's like keeping my investments in the stock market. I know it works and there is no need to try something new. Just because Wall Street, like a giant casino, is in reality a game of pure chances. The problem is that no one in the casino or in the stock market knows in advance when to buy, sell, bet on the future, or when to stay on the sidelines. One of the oldest saying on the street is that the market has a mind of its own. That's why it's important after you invest in good stock mutual funds to stay in the market at all times. Why? Because by selling stock or stock funds to get out of a down market, investors invariably fail to get back in before the next bull market begins, unless their investments are in an individual retirement account or other retirement plan. The tax system also works against the buy and sell trade. If they sell, they must pay taxes on the appreciation they build up in their funds at the time of sale. This applies to any fund ever, even if they switch funds within a family of funds. If they take a loss inside the IRA or other retirement plan, you can deduct any investment loss. They can only write off $3,000 a year against those losses. Warren Buffett, who was, according to Forbes magazine, the second richest person in the world in 1996, learned this lesson early in life. He simply invested in good growth companies like Coca-Cola, Gillette, Disney, McDonald's, and Wells Fargo Bank, and waited for the company's stock to make him rich. Andrew Kilpatrick, author of Permanent Value, the story of Warren Buffett, published by AKP in 1996, wrote that if you handed Warren Buffett $10,000 in 1956, today it would be worth about $140 million. And that figure is after all taxes, fees, and expenses. That would be a 14,000-fold return on his money in an era when the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about tenfold. Even if you arrived late at the party and did not invest in Berkshire Hathaway, and did not invest in Berkshire Hathaway until 1965, when Buffett took it over, a $10,000 investment then would now be worth about $30 million. One problem with Buffett, Berkshire, by law, don't sell story, say Kilpatrick, is that it seems unbelievable. People are skeptical because most investors have trouble just treading water. Therefore, it's hard to relate to making millions upon millions of dollars. Still convinced that you can beat the market by jumping in and out of it and constantly paying taxes on your profit. Well, in all my years of experience, I never met anyone who could consistently year in and year out beat the market average by knowing just when to buy and sell. You might become the first person, but until that happens, I'm going to believe it's not possible. I don't think I'm wrong in this case. Besides, I have the history on my side. I studied by the University of Michigan School of Business, found out if investors were out of the market and missed the 90% days between 1963 and 1993, they will have lost 95% of the market gains. If they invest 1,000 in 1963 and stay in the market continuously in 1993, they'll have 24,300. With the same investment, jumping in and out and missing 90 best days in the past 30 years. Okay, so he's just doing maths and he's just going through the years and how much things would be, all of that. But you get the point. Like basically just put your money where is safe. Basically, don't pretend and don't think that you are better than a banker, because that is a problem. A lot of people that get some money, they're still just putting money on things that they'll probably put you to in bankruptcy or something like that. So always go to the safe until you can afford to risk big, obviously. So hold on just a second, let me see. So for lesson 19, it's says small beginnings, earning money on money you've invested. Start small and early. Compounding turns tiny contributions into meaningful sum over time. It's pretty much like I was saying right now. Save money in a way that is safe until you are ready to have money to lose, because when you invest in something that is risky, you need to be able to afford the loss, because we are not better than the bankers. And no matter how much money you have, if you don't know about banking and about stocks and about trading, and you just trade for trade, might as well just go to Vegas. So first let's keep a big sum safe, and then once you probably make enough money that won't hurt you lose at least $1 million probably, or maybe I'm being too much, but enough money that you can play with. I think that's reasonable. For the last one is chapter 20. So chapter 20 is the trip of retirement. Turn 5,000 into 20 millions. Illustrate how time and plus compounding plus consistent contributions, ideally in tax advantage accounts, can grow modest amount into huge balance. So we have 10 minutes. So okay, it's very short, so let's read about it. In many ways, building a retirement fund or saving for college is a lot of like driving a car on a freeway. You have several several exits and en route to your destination, and often only one will get you where you want to go. You can take the first one that comes along, spend all your money, and wonder why life continues to end up in the dead end street. Or you can pull off the driveway, smell the flowers, and wait for something to happen. Maybe the phone will ring and you hear, "Hello, I want to tell you your Uncle Henry just died and left you $5 million." Experience. However, tell me that if you want to build wealth, you must do it yourself unless you have an Uncle Henry somewhere in your family tree. It's like finding the right exit on the freeway of life and heading for it with all the willpower you can command. Because I've seen so many people wait for an Uncle Henry type phone call or for a lotto ticket to hit pay dirt with 10 million. I want to restate this lesson again. Sudden wealth doesn't happen overnight. This statement might have whizzed right by you the last time I told you, but even if you are middle-aged, haven't read a book since the Cat in the Hat, and break into a sweat just thinking about investing your money, it all is not lost. I told you that if you invest $10,000 in good quality stocks found based on the recent history on Wall Street, you could have about 20,000. In 5 years, if you leave the investment, alone and reinvest the dividends, I've also said that your investment in good stocks found could double every 5 years, as it has for me in the past. And in 10 years, without any more investments, your nest egg could be worth about 40K. Giving it another 5 years and the amount could top 80. After 20 years, its 10,000 original investment could turn into cash with a windfall of about 160K. There are no guarantees, of course, and the stock market might not continue an upward climb at this recent pace, but all of your investments is based on the but all of your investing is based on the rear view mirror concept. We can clearly see the past, but no one I've met in Wall Street has been able to see correctly into the future. But what about spending the money on retirement? Chances are you won't need all the money in the first 5 years. So you can leave your stock found investment alone. In the next 5 years, your nest egg could double again to 320,000. The good news is that the money machine you build up during your working years just keeps on working like perpetual motion machine. The 160K growth in your nest. I'm sorry about that. Something distracted me. The 160K growth in your nest egg over the first 5 years in retirement works out to an annual increase of 32. Not bad when you consider that just 25 years early you invested only 10,000. But even if you take a part of the assets each year to live on, your money machine will still provide you with financial security while you collect your meager social security benefits. I call this method of leaving money alone my times 2. That's because the simple math of investing in good stock mutual funds tells me that over the past decade or more or money, the average annual stock fund total return with dividends reinvested was about 50% a year. At this rate, I should be able to turn the 10,000 into 20K in 5 years without investing any new income or any new money. Compare this return to a 10,000 investment into a fixed saving account earning 5%. Fortunately for me and my kids, the lightning bolt hit home when I discovered that I might be able to double my money every 5 years in the stock market compared to every 15 years. Alright, so like we were saying, learn that you can put money, but it doesn't have to be, you need to invest wisely, okay? Save, like, okay, not because, okay, let's say, right? Oh, I'm gonna invest in Lululemon because I like it. Yeah, I wouldn't, because to be honest, I don't think Lululemon can close at any time. Lululemon is not Coca-Cola, it's not McDonald's, it's not these companies that have been there for decades. So you need to be very careful, and if you're gonna do it, you need to do it with companies that you know that have survived many things, like for example 2008 crash, the housing, right? For example, the pandemic, all of those things like have survived. So yeah, Lululemon I wouldn't, because it is big, but no, it's not that big, and it's not that safe. I just see this game, it's about feeling, it's about knowledge, it's about so many things that not just because you have $10,000 you're just gonna go and put it in the thing that you think or that you like. No, I mean, I like Lululemon, but no, I'm not gonna do it. I don't know, other companies, but it's nonsense. Like, it's a lot of things. We need to learn a lot from this. So anyway, I'm glad we got to do all the way to lesson 19, I think. Yeah, no, lesson 20. So next video, I think we can do, we have 30, I think we had 36 lessons. 36 lessons. So probably we'll finish it, and I hope we do, because I really want to finish this book, because I really want to do the triggers. And I know it sounds dumb, but I really feel like I can do the triggers, and that's a challenge that I cannot wait to start. Plus I hope I can finish this drawing next time I don't know. Anyway, we'll see, but I just want to finish this book. So I hope you like it, and comment if you didn't like the book, or if you like the book, or if you like the drawing. Just give me a comment there, so I know that you got into this part of the video, and give me a like also. That will help me a lot. And that'll be it. I hope you had a great weekend, and I see you until the next video. And go to my posts, because I'm posting paintings that I did already, so I hope you like them, and I hope you can just let me know what you think about them. Like, I hope you're very curious. So thank you so much for everything and for all your support, and have a good day, good night, good evening.